I'm Andrene.
And I'm Joel.
And this is Rewind Rewatch, a 90s movie podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Rewind Rewatch. If you are just joining us,
Whenever I do the extra sound effects, you always roll your eyes.
Because I have to.
You don't have to.
You want me to. That's why you do it. That's why you do it.
It does bring me a certain level of joy.
All right. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, we are siblings who rewatch 90s movies. We have a good time here talking about the movie. We talk about how well it aged, themes, plot points, quotes, and then at the end, I give some facts about the film. We wrap up each episode with our own rewind ratings between 1 and 5, where we basically explain how likely we are to rewatch the film again. This might be like the very, 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 very last chance to leave a voicemail for our 100th episode, if you are listening to this on the day it comes out, which will be on a Thursday. We typically record during the weekend, so if it's Thursday or Friday, you can leave a voicemail, but that's like the very, 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 very last moment you can do so. For the last time, the number is 202-688-5195. All right, so for today's episode, we are covering Harriet the Spy from 1996. This is a PG film with a 1 hour and 40-minute runtime. This is a family comedy. And we had a few lovely listeners who requested this one. First off, we have Chris out of Dallas.
Shout out to Chris.
We have a Lucky Duck, Thwip Stickers out of Georgia.
Shout out to Thwip Stickers again. For
And
the second week in a row.
And lastly, we have my new sister-in-law and Joel's wife, Charlene.
Shout out to my wife.
I want to take a pause here because I've heard some people say, like, how come some people get shouted out, every week or every other week? It's because they send in multiple requests. So if you sent in one movie request, I mean, I think last week I had one listener who, like, her request came in a year ago and we just got around to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a numbers game.
It's like raffle tickets, you know. The more tickets you buy, the more likely you are to win.
Exactly.
You buy one ticket, then you gotta hope your number gets called.
Exactly.
And Thwip Stickers specifically is not shy about his.
He's not
about his requests. He'll pile them on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the main character for this film is Michelle Trachtenberg, and she plays Harriet the Spy.
Spy, look you in the eye.
I want to get back to that. Just want to give like an RIP to her. She passed away early last year due to some complications of diabetes at the young age of 39. So gone too soon from this world. She was the main character. Her two friends, we have Janie, who's played by Vanessa Chester. I know her from the movie A Little Princess. She was one of the characters in that film. She also was in The Lost World Jurassic Park. And then her other best friend, Sport, is played by Gregory Smith. And he was in The Patriot as well as the TV show Everwood for like 4 years.
I couldn't remember where I knew this kid's face from, but The Patriot might be what it is. I haven't seen that movie in a while, so it didn't come to me. But I'm like, I feel like I've seen this kid before.
Yeah.
So it probably was from The Patriot.
Most likely. And then we also have Rosie O'Donnell. She plays the nanny, Golly, or Gully. We also, which is like a weird name, but okay. We also have the mom. Did you recognize who the mom was?
Yes, I did. That's what's her name? Jay something?
Jerry
Cameron?
Yeah, J. Smith Cameron.
J. Smith Cameron. Yeah. Jerry from Succession.
Yeah, that was the mom. And then the dad is Robert Joy, and he is from CSI New York. So a lot of names in this film that have been on a bunch of other things since this movie. We also get to see Eartha Kitt at some point.
Marcus.
That we covered in Boomerang. All right, so if you had to sum up Harriet the Spy in one sentence, Joel.
Oh boy.
How would you do so?
I wasn't ready. A sixth grader is excommunicated by her class and has to reconsider her spying ways in order to be accepted by her peers again.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happens. So,
and also, let me just say, I never watched this movie growing up, which my wife could not believe. She's like, "You never watched Harriet the Spy?" And I was like, "No, I was a girl. I didn't want to watch this movie."
Hey!
This movie came out when I was 10. So, like, this didn't seem interesting to 10-year-old Joel. But I say that to say, this movie is definitely not what I expected it to be, because I was not expecting this movie to be a referendum on bullying. I thought it was going to be like, oh, this girl is like a spy, and she like goes around and gets herself into some trouble, and she's nosy and whatever, which is like kind of what happens, but it takes a very different direction. And so I guess starting off, well, what is your history with this movie?
I also have never seen this film.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's your fault.
What do you mean it's my fault?
Yeah, you're older than me. You're a girl. You should have watched a movie with a female lead, and maybe I would have been interested. But you didn't watch it, so then I was like, I'm not watching it either.
Yeah, I mean, I was 12, and Harriet, I believe, was 11. So we are around the same age.
See?
But I don't know. I feel like when I was 12, I was more into like Leo. Like I wanted, I wanted to see, heartthrobs.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. And I do feel like this movie probably would have been more appealing to like an elementary school kid versus
yeah.
Because she's in 6th grade, which is like right on the edge of like elementary, middle school. Depending on like where my elementary school was actually K6, so that was still elementary school. Where I was, the school I work for now, 6-8 is middle school. But anyway, how would you like describe this girl, Harriet? How would you like, who is this person?
Oh man. So Harriet is this, young girl who writes down everything that she sees in this notebook where she has inscribed the word private on the cover.
In all caps.
All caps, black pen, like she goes over and over and over
Which of course will not make anyone want to see it.
No. I mean, it's so private that she does not even show it to her 2 best friends. And we see her, the first time we see her, she is hiding behind like some fruit at a fruit stand, and she has these binoculars and she's watching people across the street. I mean, she's watching everything. Like, oh, there's a guy wearing this sweater, there's a lady with a purse.
Man with a tattoo.
There's a man putting his hand in her purse, and she catches like someone in the process of picking someone's pocket. And I'm getting into it. I'm like, okay, she's very observant. She's
also the worst robber ever. He steals money and jumps directly into like a dairy crate. It's like, man, you didn't plan this out at all.
He got scared because Harriet popped up and he said, whoa, and then he
jumped into some eggs.
Yeah, and like before the movie even starts, you've seen like Nickelodeon, so this is a kid's movie. It's going to be silly. It's going to be young. So you kind of got to get yourself into that mindset. But yeah, she's definitely like, she's very observant, and she wants to know everything about everything she says. And she wants to be a writer when she gets older. And so Gully, her babysitter or nanny, has told her like basically to write down everything so she can learn more. And
didn't really understand that advice either.
I didn't understand Gully.
Like her name or her person?
Like,
her person?
Okay. I wasn't really a fan of Gully.
Well, we'll get there in a second.
I wasn't a fan of Gully.
I would just say that I was confused by the concept of like, oh, walk around and write down everything you observe, and that's going to make you better at writing?
No.
Like, no, maybe it's going to make you better at observing, but like, that's not going to improve your writing skills.
Maybe better at grammar if she's writing in complete sentences.
Yeah, but still, somebody would have to check it, and she doesn't show the book to anyone.
That's true.
So the grammar could be terrible.
Yeah. that's why she was like, yeah, so right now I'm a spy. So I'm like, so you're a spy?
Those are two very different jobs.
Because you want to be...
I'm spying because I want to be a writer.
Here's the thing about this. So I'm thinking about this as like young Andrene. And I love to write. I used to write short stories all the time. I used to write poetry for my school. I got some awards for them.
Oh, God. Now we're bragging on our middle school awards. This is what we've stooped to, folks.
I had an award in college.
Okay.
I had an award in college for my poetry.
Okay. Pace University.
Shout out to Pace. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm thinking, even being that young and like writing frequent stories and all that, I never was like, oh, I want to be a spy. It didn't make sense.
Wait, so I
wanted to read a lot.
You're saying you got awards for your writing and you never spied?
Correct.
Wow, that is interesting. Gully would be very interested to hear that.
Gully wouldn't like me. Harriet is also a creature of habit, because we find out that she only brings tomato and mayo sandwiches to school, which sounds absolutely disgusting.
Sounds awful.
There's no protein.
Well, also, it sounds awful. Like you're just eating tomatoes and mayo.
Because at first I thought...
those are complimentary pieces of a sandwich. Yeah. Those should never be the main characters.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe she's vegetarian or something. But then, like, no, because later on her mom's like...
lettuce.
Her mom's like, yeah, like, do you want, like, turkey? Do you want, like, pastrami? Do you want a cucumber sandwich? No. I know what I like, and I like whatever. And she, like, makes her sandwich herself and brings it to school.
Very poorly, I might add.
But she's doing it herself, so,
that's true. That's true.
Independence is a good thing for kids to learn. So, yeah, she's
very independent because she doesn't seem to have any relationship with her parents at all.
No, just Gully.
Yeah, so Gully's her nanny, /role model, to be honest. And...
she's living.
No, yeah, she lives at the house. Yeah. And this family has money, and I have more to say about that, because I do feel like there's like a class dynamic that's at play throughout this film. But at the beginning of the film, we hear her talking about Gully. Then we meet Gully, who is played by Rosie O'Donnell. She hangs out with them, with her and her best friend. She takes them to cool places. She asks them questions. She feeds them. She's the cool adult in Harriet's life. And at the end of the night, we see her getting her ready for bed and tucking her in and making sure she brushes her teeth and giving her a bath. And she's like, oh, your parents are out. They'll be home very late. And I was like, are her parents dead? Like, I was like, is this like an elaborate plot? Because even when she's doing her narration throughout the film, like, this movie does have like a narrative plot line, so she's talking directly to the viewers. She doesn't mention her parents, and so there does not really seem to be, until we physically see them on screen, there doesn't really seem to be any relationship there until, Gully ends up leaving. And then it's like, oh, I guess we have to take care of this kid now.
Because even the first time we even hear the parents, they're just arguing.
Yeah.
In another room. And she's trying to eavesdrop on the conversation. Like, the dad is saying something about work. And then Gully's like, well, your dad has a very, like, difficult job.
High-pressure job.
Don't worry about it. But you're right. It's like, do these parents even interact with this kid? Up until Gully's gone?
Do you want my guess? My guess is no.
Do they interact with this child at all?
And I actually, this is actually a good place to go, because I do feel like that was a big part of this movie. Like, you have this live-in nanny. Obviously, you guys have money based on, like, the place that they live. It's like this gorgeous apartment with multiple floors. The nanny has her own living space. She's taking care of the child all the time. The parents are constantly out somewhere. They're at a party, they're at a dinner, they're at some banquet, they're out with friends. So they're outside.
Living their best life.
Yeah, they're living their best life. And it seems like the only thing that they do is like tuck her in at the end of the night, because Gully's up making her tomato and mayo sandwiches. She's picking her up from school. She's making her dinner. She's making sure she gets a bath. Like, they're not really seeing her at all throughout the week. And we don't even really know what weekends look like, because like you said, Golly lives there. So I don't know. When Golly leaves is like when we see her really interacting with her parents, and it is pretty much all negative. There does not seem to be any sort of connection between her and either her mother or her father. Her mother, who, like you said, is played by Jerry from Succession, seems to be a lot more impulsive. So she flies off the handle. And the dad is a little bit more measured, but also still doesn't seem to have like much of a rapport with the daughter. And even when she gets in trouble at school and they try to talk to her, she basically cusses them out. And they're like, well, we don't know what to do. So they bring her to a psychologist, which is fine. And like taking your child to a psychologist makes sense if they're showing signs of troubling behavior. But it also struck me as like the only option they had because they didn't know how to talk to themselves.
Yeah. So like you said, mom definitely does fly off the handle, but I feel like dad was like trying to play like the cool parent. Because every time something would happen, he would be like,
he wasn't cool. And it wasn't
I said
like
trying to play.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like in his mind, he'd be like, oh, well, honey, maybe we shouldn't like get so mad so fast. And it's like, bro, like, and then the mom would get mad at him because she's like, you're excusing her behavior. Like, we should be on one page. They start arguing with each other in front of her. So it's like, that's why she got mad and threw whatever at them. Because it's like, you're in here to reprimand me and you end up arguing with each other. Like, it didn't really make sense.
I wish I would have thrown a shoe at my parents.
Mom wouldn't duck like
George Bush.
Like George Bush.
If you want the facts, it's a size 10 shoe that he threw.
Nah, I would have been ducking very, very soon thereafter. I might not be here to do this podcast, guys.
Yeah, I mean, so the parents don't really know what to do with her, but we got to talk about these friends in school and what happens because this movie gets crazy. I did not know it was going to go where it did.
It gets so lit. Like, it gets so messy and so crazy, man.
So her best friends, like I said before, we have Janie and you have Sport. And these are the kids that she hangs out with at school, after school. Janie is the character who is very bright. She's into science. And for some reason, Janie has, like, her own lab set up in her bedroom at home.
She's also pretty morbid. She makes a lot of like death jokes. And at one point, when they're in class and the teacher is asking for ideas for the upcoming pageant, and she says she wants to have a pageant based on the Manhattan Project, and she's going to play J. Oppenheimer. Like, that is a really dark joke, man. This girl's in 6th grade.
She also makes a joke about trying to poison Marion Hawthorne, who we'll get to.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is dark.
Yeah, she's dark.
But she's also very smart. And like I said, she's doing all these crazy experiments in the house, which goes back to your point about like Harriet having money. It seems that Janie does too, because how else would her family be able to afford her to have a lab in her bedroom?
Sport, on the other hand.
Sport is the opposite end of the spectrum. His dad is an aspiring writer and has not had much luck selling anything. And so Sport essentially runs the household. He makes it a point to say that he wakes up, like he cooks for the family, he buys the groceries, he like balances the books.
He says, I do the books.
What?
She said, what do you mean do the books? Oh, every month when the bills come,
what?
I figure how much money we have, I keep track of it, and I make sure all the bills get paid.
You're 11.
He's in 6th grade. I said, oh.
I mean, that blew my mind.
I said, oh, so CPS needs to be on the phone.
Right. Because what is your dad doing? He has writer's block. Okay.
Yeah, he's just focused on writing and is like, this kid will take care of me. Because he's also cooking all the dinner.
Yeah. Like, today's spaghetti night. I'm like, what?
So the dad does not take any part in taking care of the house or his son. His son takes care of him and takes care of all their bills.
Yeah, that was
and
really dark. And
cleans and cooks.
It was really dark.
Yeah.
And buys groceries. He does everything by himself. So I said, oh, okay.
I think the other piece here, though, and I think the thing that I noticed about this friend group is that, like, the three of them are all kind of quirky. And it seems like that is kind of a part of what attracts them to each other. Is like, they're I wouldn't call them outcasts necessarily, but they are a little bit more different and they're just a little off center, and not in a negative way, but I feel like they are kind of like I could see a scenario where they would be seen as like the weird kids, but they're all bright and they all, like you said, they're all there for each other. So it never really stands out until this whole thing happens where Harriet becomes an outcast. But to this point, like none of them are cool kids, but they're not concerned with being cool. And I think that is another part of what makes the Gully character so interesting, is that she kind of like, she encourages them to live in their uniqueness. And she even says later on in the film to Harriet, hey, like, this is going to happen where people aren't going to like you because you're an individual and that makes people nervous. So I do feel like her and Janie and Sport all represent like this like quirky individuality, against the grain, not fitting in with everyone type of thing.
Yeah.
And actually, you mentioned this being a Nickelodeon film, and my wife and I were having this conversation last night when we were watching the movie, and she was saying like, we're talking about like the difference between like Nickelodeon and Disney, and she was like, you know, I always liked Nickelodeon more because I felt like it was like a little bit more cool. And I was like, yeah, like Nickelodeon was definitely like trying to be like cool and hip.
Yeah.
Like they had like All That, which was like a kid's version of SNL. They would never do that on Disney.
Yeah.
Disney was like more like family friendly, safe. You know, kind of like, I can put this on for my kids and it's going to be a nice time and it's going to be, but
you don't have to worry.
You know, they would have shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Salute Your Shorts, all that. Like, you know, Nickelodeon was like edgy kids TV.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that.
So this whole, and I also feel like that is relevant because it kind of, the way that this movie is shot, some of the shots that they use, the way that the camera will spin around, some of the music that they use, and even these characters themselves, they feel like kids out of a Nickelodeon movie, not a Disney movie.
Oh yeah, completely different feel. Talking about the music, that song that they were playing, it was kind of giving me like big band / DC Go-Go. It was like a mashup of both of them.
That's funny.
At the beginning, when they had like Harriet the Spy.
Yeah, that was. I said, this opening music is something. I don't know exactly what it is, but I was like, all right, I'm strapped in now.
Yeah, it grabbed my attention. I will say that. Yeah. So Harriet and her friends have this secret foot tattoo that apparently she draws it onto one of their feet, and then they press their foot up against it because they want to be, you know, blood brothers, but they don't actually want to cut themselves. So they do this instead. And we quickly learned that they hate this character, Marion Hawthorne. She obviously has money, and she is what Jamaicans would call stush, which basically means like pretentious.
Stuck up, full of herself. Yeah.
Yeah, she...
uppity.
Very uppity. And she has like her one best friend. It's not a whole clique, but her one best friend who wants to be just like her. She thinks she's better than everybody. And, you know, she's a cute girl. She's well-dressed. And, like, her idea...
She's dressed like she's, like, going to a cotillion. Like, girl.
That's not how her mom dressed her. What you mean? Her mom definitely dressed her and braided her hair in that nice French braid. What you talking about?
Oh, man.
But her idea of gameplay, I noticed, is that she's like, well, let's play Buy the Volvo.
Yes. And that's when I wrote down in my notes, Marion sucks. I was not a fan of this girl at all. I was so over her.
Maybe that's what she plays with her family at home. You got to think about it. Maybe her parents play that with her.
Maybe they do. it's also relevant, worth noting that Marion has been voted class president now 3 years in a row. So that's 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And the class president, they said, is responsible for making sure everyone is safe, also calling people out when they're not doing the right thing.
They help with attendance.
And also they are the editor for the school newspaper, which I thought was like a lot to be putting on the class president. And I'm like, all right. And also they're like the assigned snitch. That's not... Yeah. I don't know if that's something that I would be signing up for. But anyway, she wins this, and it's unclear if people actually like her. I mean, obviously somebody likes her because she keeps winning. And at the end, we see that the final vote is between, of course, Marion and Harriet. And Marion wins the vote again. And I don't know if people like actually like her, if they just fear her. I don't know. She doesn't really treat anyone that nice. But she's has pull, and also she's assertive. And I think that's another thing that probably like gives her an edge over the other kids, where it's like, you know, the teacher's asking for suggestions. They might like say a little thing or they might not. She like stands up and gives a soliloquy about her idea, why we should have a pageant where we're all dressed up like food and we have a dinner and she's the centerpiece gravy.
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. They did it though.
It was a terrible idea, and they did it like I said because she was the most assertive about it.
But also, you know, I think when you're especially that age as a kid, you are not sure of yourself at all.
No, and especially not in middle school.
She's extremely self-assured. So it's like you have someone that's acting like that, then it's very easy to be like, well, you know what she's talking about. I don't feel comfortable, but she does. So sure, you lead. And also, there are people who are just shy. So it's like, I don't want to be in charge of this stuff.
No.
So you do it. You know, I don't care. So they have Marion, and, you know, they don't really like this girl. And throughout the movie, we see Harriet, like Joel said, like she's spying, moving from place to place. But my issue with Harriet is, yes, sometimes she's just peeking through windows and looking at people. Like she sees this older gentleman, Harrison, who has too many cats, and the health department has it out for him. And then he also sees
he has
like 20-something cats.
He has a lot of cats. He's also he's scatting and catting, man. He's the scat. He's Scatman the Catman is what I wrote in my notes, because he has like all these cats. He's like living his best life with all of his furry friends. He's singing and scatting to them.
Yeah, he's happy.
And I was a little confused as to why animal control was even worried about this man, because it didn't seem like the cats were being endangered. It wasn't like they were malnourished. He was feeding them. He was taking care of them. I'm like, who cares how many cats this man has?
I don't know.
They were just hating, man. I didn't like that.
Yeah, they didn't like this man and his cats. She also was snooping on
she's snooping on everybody.
Hong Fat Food Emporium, and she sees what she thinks is a worker stealing vegetables from the store. And the last one that she snitches on, or I guess sneaks on, is Agatha Plumber. But she sneaks into this woman's house.
No.
And this is where I was like, okay, Harriet.
This is her first B&E.
I'm like, oh, and she does it throughout the movie. She keeps going back.
All in the name of becoming a better writer.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense to me. So she sneaks into the person's house, and she's like in the dumbwaiter watching Agatha in her bedroom. I was like, this is really creepy. Like,
yeah, I didn't love the message, especially for a kid watching this, to be like, oh, I can be a spy like Harriet, and I'm gonna like sneak into my neighbor's house.
No. That's how you get killed.
Man, that's not a good idea. I feel like that they could have left that out of the movie, because some little kid who's also quirky and weird is gonna watch this movie and be like, oh, I want to wear my yellow raincoat and have my binoculars and go around my neighborhood like Harriet. I'm sure she had copycats when this movie came out. I'm sure.
So I want to talk about Gully, whatever her name is.
Let's talk about Gully.
So So like we said, she's a living nanny, and we find out one night she decides that they're going to stay in, and she's cooking dinner, and she's cooking this bratwurst, and Harriet's like, we don't like...
Bratwurst, mind you, that she said early in the movie she would not eat for $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Now she's making it. And Harriet's like, we don't like that. And she's like, yes, we do. And then Harriet sees the man that she had seen steal the food from the Chinese restaurant shows up with a pineapple. So she's like... So she's not feeling this man at all. Because, like, I saw you steal something. I don't trust you. Why are you at my house? And
also...
He's flirting...
Crazy jealous.
He's flirting with Gully, like, heavy. Like, they're kikiing, smiling, touching each other's hands on the table, doing all this stuff.
But my guy came for a dinner date and brought a pineapple?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
And they weren't eating pineapple. They had soup, and then they had bratwurst.
And then Harriet
so why did you bring this,
Harriet said he probably stole that pineapple.
Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy because Harriet, it's so funny because she basically gets caught later being a hater. But then it's like, when you're watching the movie, every time she talks to, like, when she narrates her thoughts to the audience, she is, like, pretty judgy. Mm-hmm. So it all kind of, like, I didn't think about it as I was watching the movie, but then, like, you know, yeah, we'll get there.
She's mad judgy.
Yeah.
So then they end up sitting there, and it turns out that Gully has now burnt the bratwurst. They can't eat it. It's inedible. And so George is like, well, I know. We can just go out and, like, catch a movie and go to dinner. Now, here's the thing. You're responsible for this child. Mm-hmm. Her parents are out, and they believe that you are home with their child. Mm-hmm. She decides, first she's like, well, I don't know. We're supposed to be here, blah, blah, blah. But then Harriet's like, oh, come on. Mom and Dad will be out forever. They're not coming home anytime soon. And George is like, yeah, come on, let's go. So she throws caution to the wind. She leaves with them.
She want to have big fun with her man.
Yeah, they went to movie theater. While they're there, they're like throwing popcorn over Harriet's head. They're flirting heavy the whole night. I think
Harriet makes her switch seats because she's so jealous that somebody else has Gully's attention except for her. So she's like, nah, I'm sitting in the middle.
Yeah. So they go to a whole movie. They get food. They're outside, like, pretending that they're playing around. Now she's starting to feel George. They're having a good time. Harriet and George having fun. And then they get home by way of, was it like a bicycle or?
Yeah, he rides a delivery bike. So
that's
that was
right.
his
That's
mode of
right.
transportation.
That's right. So Harriet's in the basket, and they're riding back. They get to the house, and the parents are at the door. They're like, "Oh my God, where were you? We didn't know where you were.
Who's this strange man?
Right. Who is this man?" And he's like, "Oh, it's my fault." And they're like, "No, please, sir, don't talk to me." Gully, what's happening here? And she's like, "Oh, we just like went out for a quick movie and dinner. Like, that's like 3 hours, 4 hours. Like, what do you mean a quick dinner and movie?" And the mom is like, "We didn't know where our daughter was. Like, you can't do that." And again, this is in the 90s. Ain't no cell phones. So if you leave, like, I don't know where you are.
Nah, you're just gone. Or you should have left a note on the kitchen counter.
Right,
like,
something.
He's like, they're not gonna be home. These parents never come home anyway, so whatever. They'll be gone.
So this is when mom flies off the handle. She says, "That's it, Gully. Like, you're done. You're fired." And the dad's like, "Well, come on. Maybe we're being a little rash."
I feel like that's like their whole relationship.
Yeah.
Is like the mom spazzing out and then the dad being like, "Yo, really, babe?"
Yeah.
And then they argue about it.
Mm-hmm. So then George leaves, and then mom quickly changes her tune, and she's like, because Gully starts packing up, like,
she's like,
I guess I'm leaving.
She's like, all right, cool.
Because Gully's not even mad. She's like, honestly, like, this might be time. Like, I think she's ready, she says, which I'm like, okay.
I don't think she's
I didn't
ready.
get that part, but all right.
I don't think she's ready at all.
She's ready. So she's about
needs
to
at
leave.
least like 2 more years.
And then mom is basically like, no, don't leave. I made a mistake. And she says no. And she leaves that night. And so now Harriet's by herself, no Gully, but she has her notebook and she's writing away. And when she goes to school, the next day, all the kids decide they want to hang out after school and go to the park.
Tag.
Yeah. Bumper tag, they call it. Bumper tag.
Yeah, which apparently...
I had to Google. I was like, what is that?
Apparently, it involves smacking the books out of other kids' hands because that's all they were doing. They leave school, everybody's carrying their books, and as soon as they start playing tag, whenever someone gets tagged, they just smack the books out of their hand. So everyone's books are just flying, splayed all over this park.
Yes.
And they're running around, they're having big fun. Mm-hmm. She's rolling around with her friends. She's got her sport. She's got her Janie. Everything's lit.
Until she's like, anybody see my notebook?
Marion gets the book.
The burn book.
Which is the original burn book. It is the Mean Girls before Mean Girls, because when she opens the book, she's like, wait, I'm looking at all of these notes. And mind you, she writes down everything she sees.
Man.
Which, in theory, would be observations, notes, facts, objective perspectives. This is not what is in her book.
No.
Her book contains a lot of opinions and judgments.
Absolutely.
About literally every single person in the class. And so Marion's like, oh, word, this is what you've been writing? Secret, private, do not touch. I am absolutely going to open this.
Yeah. And I really don't like you anyhow, because those friends, again, don't suck up to her. They don't like her. They make gagging sounds when she walks by. So she's like...
And they throw her shade. So so she's like, oh, like they don't bend the knee? Like, nah.
Right.
This is... You're cooked.
She's thirsty. You should have
never left your private book out, dog. This joint is public now. She reads that book to the whole class. Like, yo, you want to know what she said about you? Mm-hmm. Yo, she said your face looked like it's pinched together. Yo, this is crazy. You know what she said about you? She said all you care about is trying to be like me. That's crazy, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She's going in. She's going crazy.
But then when she gets to Purple Socks, I was like, this is a lot. Because for Purple Socks, she says, if I was only known for my footwear, I would hang myself.
Again,
crazy.
This is not getting into a Disney film, bro.
No.
This is only on Nickelodeon you get this type of fire. You getting Oppenheimer jokes and child suicide. This is what you're getting. This is Nickelodeon, baby.
I was like, oh my God. I wish someone would kick Beth Ellen.
She talked about the girl who grew boobs.
Oh yeah, she's only cool because she spent summer vacation growing boobs. Yeah, I mean, she was doing the most. But yeah, Purple Socks...
These are not observations. These are not observations.
No. Purple Socks got to me. And then she gets to her friend Janie. She says, Janie really creeps her out. And she wonders if she'll grow up to be a total nutcase.
Yes.
And Janie's like, word?
I had the same thought.
Janie said, word? I'm your best friend? And like, Janie, so what happens is Marion says to Janie, like, oh, Janie, you're in here. Do you want to read it? So Janie's like, yeah, I want to read it.
She said, oh, word?
So then
I'm in there?
So Janie reads it out loud to the class. And someone says, and that's her best friend. I was like, dang, girl. But then she says, wait, sport, you're in here too. And it was like, oh no. Because she even says like, no, let's go. No. And they're like, what did she say about me?
Sport is so poor, he can't even afford food. Why can't his father just get a real job? Oh, and get this as well. One day, I had to pretend he dropped $1 just so he can afford some milk and bread. Oh. Ooh, harsh.
How do you write this in your book about your best friends?
This is the craziest part. Because it's like, yo, yes, this girl went through your private stuff. You got played. But really, you played yourself.
Yes.
Because why are you writing all of this down, bro?
Okay.
All right, my best friend's poor. Why am I writing down? Yo, he's mad poor.
Yeah.
Like that's not spying, bro. now you're just telling secrets. Did you know that Sport has to cook all the food for his daddy because his daddy's a deadbeat? Like, come on, bro. This is not observations.
So,
why are you writing this all down?
So here's where young Andrene comes into the chat, because I had a diary like...
You had a burn book?
No, I had a diary like most girls do at that age. And I had like the exclusive joints that like had like a lock with a key. So if you didn't have my key, you weren't getting in there. But because I am so risk adverse and like I don't want to take any chances, what I would do is I would write in code in my diary.
Just in case.
Yeah. So
just in case the private became public.
So I'm like, yo, if Joel gets into my diary, he's not gonna know what the heck I'm talking about. Like, even, like, me and my best friend at the time had a code. So we would, like, write notes, but, it was gibberish to, like, the naked eye. So if you didn't know... So that's the thing. So you
really was Harriet the Spy.
So I'm watching this, and I'm like, bro, like, you don't really know what you're doing.
You had your own spy code.
Because you should know.
So that means you do actually need to be a spy to win poetry awards.
No.
It all comes back together. Golly was right.
I wasn't spying on people. It was just like, you
created a spy code. So.
All right, Joel.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, so I was disappointed in her with that. I'm like, girl, that's like 101. Like, you don't write down people's whole names. She didn't even put like initials or like nicknames.
Nah,
Come
she
on.
didn't put anything.
Something.
She's writing everybody's real name like bang 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 bang
Yeah.
bang. She's in, and she has heat for everybody in the class. Like, this is the crazy thing. She left no stone unturned. It was so insane.
But then Marion said to her, Harriet, go sit on that bench over there until we decide what to do with you.
And she went. She was
that.
like, "Oh damn, I'm caught." She was like, "Yeah, I got nothing." It's like, cause it's like, what can you say at this point? Like, yo, you fried everybody in the class. They all read it. Like, it's in your hand.
I would just go home.
It's just like, bro, like, it's over. She's like, "Yeah, I have nothing. I have nothing to come back with here."
No,
like,
but it was the until we decide what to do.
Until we decide.
That killed me.
And then what they decide is like, yo, everybody who was hating on Marion before, which is really just Janie and Sport, they're like, nah.
We're Team Marion now.
We're Team Marion. So then everybody basically circles up with Marion because they're all like, she sucks. She's been talking about all of us. And they create something called the Spy Catchers Club, which is basically an anti-Harriet club.
Yes.
They create a scheme where they basically follow her around town, banging pots and pans everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
Terrorizing her.
Yeah.
So she can't escape them. They're having like secret hangout parties where they're eating cake together, and she's obviously not invited. And all of this turns into Harriet deciding, you know what? If they're going to try to prank me, then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to prank them all back.
So here's the thing. I already really wasn't on Harriet's side from the like, based on her observations and all that. I already was kind of like, I only like this girl singing people's houses and all that. But this is the part of the movie where I was just like, oh, I would fight her.
Yo, I
would fight her.
I was waiting for somebody to get hit.
Yeah.
And somebody does get hit later. It's not Harriet. Harriet actually smacks Marion across the face. But this is when things get really crazy.
No, she was out of control.
This is when things get crazy.
I'm sorry.
So they're putting pranks on her. I think this is when they're in art class and somebody like basically like pours a bunch of paint on her, and then they're pretending to help her wipe it off, but they're just wiping it all over her even more. And then Marion pours more paint on her when the teacher turns her back. So then she gets up and smacks Marion across the face. Leaves a big blue handprint all right over her cheek. So now she's hot. She's like, yo, I'm an outcast. Everybody hates me. They try to pour paint on me.
Not only that, they took away her notebook. Her parents confiscated her notebook.
The parents confiscated the notebook. She was tight. And the teacher called the mom and dad like, yo, something's going on. She gets to sit down with her parents. Her parents yell at her. She's like, oh, you talk about my notebook being an unhealthy habit. Y'all got unhealthy habits. You come home and drink every night. You spend all your time buying all that crappy jewelry. Yo, she was going in. She was going crazy.
She said, all I do is go to parties all the time. I was like, girl.
All you do is go to parties and buy that crap jewelry. That's crazy.
I would never.
And you pouring yourself a martini every day after work.
Little girl.
And you talking about me and my notebook. You got unhealthy habits.
I'll tell you what, though.
So I was like, yo, it is very clear that there is no love lost between the parents and this girl. No. And Golly was like the liaison that was like making this household work. Because once she left, it was like, oh, like we actually have to deal with this kid?
And they have no idea.
We don't even talk to this girl. And she doesn't have any respect for her parents. No. That was apparent.
No.
So, and then that's when they like take her to this child psychologist and all this stuff. She's coming into school and the teacher is giving her a TSA pat down every morning just to make sure she doesn't have a notebook.
I will say that was a little bit too much for me. Like I was like, I'm not Team Harriet, but I felt like that scene in particular.
You weren't Team TSA either.
Yeah, and also like if you're going first of all, patting down a child is wild. Without her parents present, number one is wild.
She said, "You got a notebook?"
But number two, you're doing it in front of the whole class. She had Harriet in the center of the classroom
class to do
and
it.
was like, "Well, let me check." And then Harriet would take her arms out. She would go down the front, and then she would spin her around. The whole class was like, because of course you're 11 and you're seeing your child being your.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine?
God. I would be dying. I would be cracking up. Oh, I would have so many jokes. Bruh, she got patted down by the teacher.
Yeah.
Every morning, you got a notebook on you?
Right.
You sure?
You like, what time is your flight? Like,
mad jokes. Oh my god. If she can't even bring a notebook to class, I'd be going in. This be crazy. Oh my god.
So I felt bad because that to me was a little bit too much and like too scarring for like her ego. I was like, this is a lot. But yeah, she's going through all this. So then, once the paint hit, she was like, that's it.
She makes a kill list.
Yeah.
Basically.
She did.
I mean, she doesn't kill anyone.
And the first girl on the list is the girl that she said looks like her pinch has been her face has been pinched. And this is where I said, oh, I would fight this girl. Because she's sitting in class, this poor girl is like minding her own business. Harriet takes out a pair of scissors and just cuts her ponytail.
Nah, that's crazy.
My jaw hit. I was like, what?
I said, oh, they're about to fight.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I thought for sure she was going to turn around and get smacked.
That was just phase one.
That's insane.
You
cut somebody's hair?
Crazy. Her hair was long, too.
Yes. So already I was like, oh, I don't like this girl. So she starts with that. Then the girl who grew the boobs over the summer, she gets her bra and hangs it on the school flagpole. And little boys, they're going to die laughing.
And it's also 6th grade.
Yeah.
So most of the kids in the class don't have boobs yet.
Yeah.
So everyone knows whose it is.
They're like, oh my God, you saw how big her bra is? Like, everyone's going to be cracking jokes. And the flagpole, like, come on.
Nah, it's crazy.
It was too much.
It's crazy. Mind you, as she's going through this list of pranks, there's no adult interference at any point.
Exactly.
Like, she's just getting these off. Not to mention, she scratches her hit list into
in
her
desk. Mm-hmm.
So the teacher could have just seen what was happening and be like, hey, this is like, you're suspended or whatever.
What? There's no notebook, so
right.
that's all she cared about.
So I did my TSA pat down, and that was the end of my responsibility.
Yeah, she does that. One girl has posters of Ryder Strong and Andrew Keegan. And
that is a 90s reference right there.
She goes through and draws, like, pokes their eyes out with the pen.
She ruined her Team B posters, man. You can't ruin the Team B posters.
Janie had an experiment, and she ruined the experiment. Like, she's going, tells Marion her father doesn't love her. And the worst part.
That was the crazy part.
That wasn't the worst part for me.
She was like, yo, you always talk about how your father takes you horseback riding. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? I found out that your father doesn't even live here.
Your father lives in Amsterdam. He hasn't seen you in 3 years. And you want to know why, Marion? Because he doesn't love you.
And then, just walks out of the bathroom, and the girl's just like, crushed. Because in the back of her mind, she's probably had the thought.
Yeah.
So then now this girl's saying it to her in front of all the girls in the girls' restroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that was crazy. I said, this girl went nuclear. That was sick. But
the worst part was earlier on in the film when we see Harriet, she goes and she visits Sport, and Sport tells her it's time for me to clean the house. And he puts on this like frilly apron, and he goes around like dusting and vacuuming and all that. And Harriet says, can I take a photo of you? And at first he says no, then he relents. And it's like, the throwback Polaroid pictures like that come out right away. She ends up making copies of this picture like on a piece of like white paper in the background. And she writes man of the house at the bottom of the photo and hangs these posters up all over the school.
no teacher takes them down. They're just hanging all over the hallway.
Yo, I'm never talking to you again.
And the fact is, as she's hanging them up, he comes out down the hallway, stands there, and looks at her like, really? And she looks him dead in his face and puts another one up.
No.
Like, no remorse. Like,
No.
she's like, she goes crazy, bro.
It's too much.
She goes crazy.
It's too much.
The whole class tried to bully her, and she bullied everyone.
Yeah.
She bullied everyone by herself. It was crazy.
It's like, okay, they banged some pots around your head and threw some paint on. Like the way she OD'd, it was not in proportion to. It was not reasonable force. I'll say that. Like, she did way more than what was done to her. So she's like, yeah, forget all of you. And she makes it a point to write. Later on, her parents do give her a notebook back, and she says something about the fact that like she had to choose between like being a spy and having friends. She would pick being a spy. She says, maybe you're not allowed to be both. And I was like, dang. Mm-hmm. So she basically picking her career over her friends at 11.
Mm-hmm. She knew what time it was. She was already picking that because even when her friends would be like, yo, can you hang out today? She's like, no, I got to do my spying. Like she had a schedule. She stuck to it. An 11-year-old, very disciplined at this point. So it's like, yo, I already know like this is priority number 1 and we can hang out and have fun number 2. So now that I don't have any friends, now I really don't care. Now I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah, she was doing
and
the
my
most.
parents can't tell me anything either. So then it's like once she, and this is all coming back to the fact of like, once Gully left the house, everything fell apart. Mm-hmm. Like she was keeping this girl together.
Well, so after she has this crazy outburst at school and basically bodies everybody, the parents' phones is basically ringing off the hook. And they're like, every single parent at the school has been calling about you. What's going on? And they decide they don't know what to do, and they end up bringing Gully back because they're like, we clearly can't handle this wild child. So she goes to Gully, and she's like crying about how she lost her friends and this, that, and the other. And Gully says basically that sometimes you need to tell like a little lie to make people feel better. And she's like, what? What do you mean? She's like, I know, like it seems like, opposite of what I would tell you to do, but sometimes like the truth is important, but so are your friends. That's what she said to her. So it's like,
and she gave examples of like, oh, if somebody cooks you a meal and it's gross, you will still say thank you even though you didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a friend that's sick, you might tell them they're looking better even though they're not. I thought this idea of like, she says like, that whole thing about a lie can make people feel better. And sometimes a really small lie can be a really big help. And it's like, is that true in life? Yes, it is true. At the same time, I feel like this is very dangerous advice to give to a child.
Yeah.
And again, thinking about like the influence that this film could have had on kids watching it. It's like, oh, well, why'd you tell this lie, Johnny? Oh, well, I was just trying to make you feel better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was actually a very big lie, and you thought it was a small lie because Rosie O'Donnell told you that.
Yeah, that
who, by the way, spends
really
the entire film dressed like Paula Poundstone for whatever reason.
It didn't.
She had these quirky hats and vests. It was definitely giving me Paula Poundstone energy, man. I don't know what that was about.
That was the look, man.
That was the look, apparently. What year is this? 96?
96. Yeah, I didn't love that. But then after that happens, and honestly, the way the movie wraps up, I didn't like either. Because Harriet decides she goes back to school. We actually skipped over the whole part where she ends up getting taken home by a police officer because she gets caught like trying to break, I guess, back into the plumber's house or something. I don't know. But anyway, she goes back to school and she raises her hand and says to the teacher that she doesn't think it's fair that the person who's class president should be the editor of the 6th grade newspaper.
She goes and apologizes to everybody. Well, no.
It wasn't everybody.
She just apologized to Janie and Sport.
She apologized to Janie, and Janie was like, kick rocks, and kicked her out. And then Sport, she only apologized after he slammed the door in her face. She was like, I'm sorry, Sport.
Oh, yeah, she didn't really apologize to Janie either. She showed up to both of their homes and was like, hey, what's up? And they were like...
and Janie's like, are you kidding me?
They were like, why are you here? Like, get out. And then after they, like, closed the door on her, and then she's like... Oh,
she's like, I'm sorry.
But it's like, bro, like, if you're showing up to apologize, you don't just say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
You say, like, hey, can I talk to you? I really feel bad. Like, there was no lead-in. And I feel like, yeah, Rosie didn't really give her, like, the how to apologize. And maybe she needed more advice than just, like, hey, you can give a small lie. It's like, yeah, that's a part of it, but like you have to actually apologize, and I don't think she knew how to do that.
Yeah, I didn't like it. She didn't apologize to them, and the rest of the kids in the class, she didn't even attempt to apologize to them. And then she basically says to the teacher, like, "Oh, I don't think it's fair that the class president should be the only person editing the 6th grade paper. So I think it would be nice to get like different perspectives if other people can like switch it up or something." And then they decide to take a vote to see if someone else should do it besides Marion.
Oh, not only do they take a vote,
I'm like, what?
not only do they take a vote, the person who stands up and vouches for her is Purple Socks.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Who not only did she say, if I were this kid, I'd kill myself. This is also a kid that had been established as never speaking.
Yeah.
So the one time he actually speaks is to vouch for someone who bullied him. So this is complete dreamland. Like
sense.
this is never what would happen.
No.
But okay, whatever.
And then her friends end up like, yeah, they second it and they
But they're all like, I think Harriet would be good for the school
Why?
newspaper because she's a really good writer. How did you learn she was a good writer when you
she was writing about you.
When you read her talking about how awful your lives are?
I didn't understand. Like, this whole scene blew me. I was like,
Well, she is a good writer.
I don't understand how she gets redemption at the end of this film. It didn't make any sense to me. They all was like raised their hands, and then what really got me upset was everyone starts voting, and then Harriet's the last person to vote, so she raises her hand. Then she raises her second hand. I'm like, girl, you put that hand down. Put your hands down.
That's not going to count.
I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed.
I think you still are annoyed.
I was like, get this little girl out of here. I did not like Harriet.
That's very funny.
I did not like Harriet.
That's very funny. Oh, man. Well, the funny thing about it is, like, when you talk about there being, like, no real lesson learned, her first edition of the paper, she writes about, I guess, what she's learned over the course of this film. And in her article, she does apologize to most of the class. She is still talking about Marion and Rachel, though. She's like, oh, yeah, they're still, like...
Yeah, she uses a weird word.
Yeah, she like calls them a name and says like, oh, they could be cool, but it really all depends on whether they really want to.
Yeah.
And it's like, she doesn't say their names explicitly, but it's like, it's very clear you're talking about Marion. And then she's like, oh, by the way, I'm sure her dad does love her. It's like, all right, this is a very ham-fisted apology, but Marion has a smile on her face at the end of the movie, so I guess she accepts it. And to your point, like she never like really apologized other than through the newspaper, which is the job that she wanted the whole time. So it's like she kind of got what she wanted first.
Yes.
And then it was like, all right, well, I'm sorry, guys.
Gave half-ass apologies after the fact.
I'm still very concerned about her home situation, by the way. I don't feel like there was...
But Gully came back, so...
Gully came back to talk to her. She didn't move back in.
Yeah.
And I was like, she probably charged her parents for those 2 hours. You bringing me in to talk to your daughter because y'all don't know how to talk to her.
We just need you to talk to her.
Okay. I'm charging you for these 2 hours. I'm coming to talk to Harriet.
How's she gonna bill as a nanny?
Sometimes you got, I'm not your nanny no more.
I'll send you a bill.
Yeah, about an hour, dog.
No, that's crazy.
I mean, they did like have a sort of kind of scene with her and the mom where the mom apologizes for taking away her book. She gives the book back. She says, I never opened it. So to this day, her parents still don't actually know what happened at school. They just know she was acting up and got in trouble. But they actually don't know the fact that she was writing about everyone in her book because they never opened the book.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, I realized this really made you upset, so we're just going to give this back to you. This was my mistake. And her mom basically says, like, one day you might have kids and you'll see that all you really want to do is try to, like, take care of your kid, understand them, and it's really hard. And I think there was something there where she's a parent that's, like, apologizing to a child, which a lot of parents, quite frankly, do not do.
Yeah.
And showing that vulnerability, I think, was like a step in them kind of building some trust. But they very clearly still don't have the relationship that she has with Golly. And so, she's getting ready for high school in a few years. It's going to be a rough couple, a rough 5 years coming up here. So
she said that they need to de-dorkify themselves.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it was. De-dorkify themselves. So then at the end, they have the pageant. Everyone's dressed up like food.
The pageant was dry.
It was awful. The adults were all yawning. And this is the thing. We go back to Harriet's narration. And Harriet is still talking trash about her classmates. Mm-hmm. She's like, man, this was so boring. Everybody was falling asleep. We should have done something else. I don't know why. Like, I don't know, man. She's still breaking into Eartha Kitt's house.
Yes, at the end.
So I'm like,
she didn't learn anything.
I'm not really sure what she got out of all of this.
That was my problem with this movie.
Because she's still talking about people.
I didn't understand. It's like you have this... A very clear message could be done here, right? Like talking about themes,
there was a message.
There's very clear messages.
They didn't take it home.
It's like...
They didn't hammer it home.
It kind of reminds me when we were talking about Jerry Maguire, where it was like, when it came to him and his client's relationship, there was definitely growth. But when it came to him and his wife, I was like, they shouldn't be together.
Right. Yeah.
So, here it's like, okay, I guess she's learned some things. Like, for instance, she thought that Gully's boyfriend was stealing from the restaurant. But then when she got a closer look, she realized, in fact, he was taking food and giving it to, like, these orphan children.
Yeah.
And the Chinese lady who owned the restaurant was actually helping him to give the food away. So he wasn't stealing it. He was giving it to someone who needed it. So it's like, you're not getting the clear picture of everything and you're just drawing conclusions. But then it's like, by the end, are you still doing the same thing? I don't know.
Well, you brought up something else that I was going to talk about, which is this town that she lives in seems to have like a very significant wealth disparity because everyone seems to either be very rich or very poor. You have her, number one, pretty affluent. Her parents obviously are making money. They have a very nice home. We have Eartha Kitt's home, beautiful, like basically mansion. And you have people like Marion Hawthorne, who's like getting like car service to her 6th grade class every morning. But then you have like these destitute kids that are outside of the Chinese grocery, basically waiting for leftovers every morning just so that they have something to eat. You have Sport, who has basically had to take care of an entire home as an 11-year-old boy because his dad was so busy, and his dad is justified at the end because he ends up selling his book for $10,000. And it's like, all right, well, I guess everything that he did was fine because it paid off at the end.
Yeah, I didn't
Hey, hard work pays off. If you really care about something, then dedicate yourself to it and ignore your child. And eventually you'll get 10,000 smackaroos.
I didn't like that wrap up, like you said, because it just was like, okay, so now that they have money, the issue is now just resolved. That's it?
Yeah.
Oh. What was that movie we watched? Soul Food. Once they found the money, then the problems were, that was it.
Yeah, this is it. Exactly. You get the money and then you're good. Money solves your problems. That's the message. Well, anyway, I mean, I guess we can talk about themes now since we're already talking about it. I mean, I think there is a part of it that is talking about obviously following your passion between the dad, between her. And honestly, Golly is like, you know what? I've been doing this work for 11 years. Like, it's time for me to move on and do something else. Maybe she just needs a little bit more privacy so she can have a regular date and not have to have this guy bring pineapples over to the house of the people whose kids she takes care of. Like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I need to find my own place.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. There also is a story here about how do you deal with loss. Because she takes Golly moving out really hard and it manifests itself in really terrible ways for her and all the people around her. Again, there is no real resolution for how to experience loss other than like, hey, they might come back. That was like the only thing that solved this. It's like Golly had to come back to the house. But I think the biggest theme that I would take away is simply don't be a bully. because you won't like it when it happens to you. And she was talking about everybody. She was talking crazy about them. And then everybody turned on her. And when she was on the other side of it, and everybody was whispering, giggling about her, passing notes, talking about how she stinks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Then she was like, oh, man, she felt really bad. Yeah, that's exactly how you made all those other kids feel when you were writing about them in your burn book. So I think that is probably the biggest takeaway from this movie is like, don't be a bully.
Yeah, so along those lines, my biggest theme that I found was how to basically take accountability for your actions because there will be consequences. When she's writing in this notebook and having the time of her life and no one can read it, everything was fine. But once that secret got out, baby, it was over for her. And I think a big part of it was, like you said, she wasn't writing down observations. It was just kind of like,
judgments.
This person is so poor. Like, instead of being like, oh, Sport works really hard at his house. You know, Sport is a reliable character who can... I can't believe he's able to cook and manage bills. And, you know what I mean? Like, you could have written in a more positive light to be like, oh, my friend is really smart. Or Janie, you know, wants to get what did you say she wanted to get? Like some kind of award for copying her DNA at some point when she's an adult. And she's clearly a smart girl because she's able to do all these different things. But it's like, instead of looking at the positive, it was negative for everybody. It's like, why are you looking at the world to the negative light? Even when it came to George is stealing versus George is helping out people.
She's judgy, man. She's judgy. The only person she didn't say anything bad about was the guy with the cats.
Yeah. That's it.
And we don't even meet him.
That's a problem. Like,
it is a problem.
That's a problem. That's
this girl probably needs to continue seeing the psychologist.
And then I also wonder if a part of it is just the fact that she is younger than her age, because when the rest of the kids are like, oh, Harriet, she stinks, ha, ha, ha. She goes into the bathroom and starts to like wash her pits and wash her feet. And I'm like, she knows they don't mean that you actually stink.
No, I don't think she knew that at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like she didn't seem to be the same age as the other kids in her class. Because it's like, why did you not understand what they were saying? Like, saying someone stinks is a very, like, that's what people say. Like, I wouldn't think like, oh, I literally stink. So I was wondering, like, is she, I don't know. It just seemed odd that she would take that so literally. It was very like Amelia.
Well, she hasn't been washing her foot. So that probably actually did stink.
But they wouldn't smell that.
She hasn't washed it for how long? Maybe they did.
I don't know. I just don't.
At one point, she lifts it up to her nose and she's like, oh, this.
That was that part. She goes
like,
in the bathroom.
My foot actually does really stink.
And then she starts washing under her pits. But I'm like, you take a bath.
She gives herself a whole bath in the middle of the elementary school bathroom.
Yeah, I think accountability, like I said, and then also the difference between being brutally honest and having empathy for others, because she didn't have any empathy for anybody in this, except for, you know, Catman and Gully.
Scatman the Catman.
Everybody else can kick rocks as far as she was concerned.
Yeah.
Do you have any quotes that you wanted to talk about before I get to facts?
I mean, the most 90s quote, when she tells Golly, talk to the hand. But she kind of messed it up. She said, talk to the hand because the face ain't gonna listen.
Yeah, I didn't
which is not. It's talk to the hand because the face don't understand. So I'm like, yo, what white guy wrote this, man? Like, come on. This is why you have to have black people in your writer's room.
Because the face ain't gonna listen.
The face ain't gonna listen. No. That's not the bar. Like, that's not it. No. That was never it. So this is exactly why you can't just be writing this stuff, man. Like, ask your kids, do something. When you're going to write kids' characters, ask your kids, ask your friends' kids, yo, what are you guys saying now? Like, don't guess, bro. Because then it makes the actor look crazy.
See, nowadays, people just have TikTok, so they can go on there and figure it out. But back then, you had to do some homework. I also liked where, at one point, Marion says, after her notebook that's taken, she says to Harriet, where's your notebook, Harriet? And Harriet's like, have you looked up your butt? And I thought about, when I was younger, my favorite bar was, if you asked me like, oh, Andrene, where's whatever, I would like, up my butt and around the corner. I don't know why.
You'd say up my
Sorry,
butt?
up your butt.
why was that, Neil? Okay.
Up your butt and around the corner.
That feels like a very boy insult.
I loved it.
That feels like something a 10-year-old boy would say. And I'm trying to imagine your group of female friends responding to you telling them up your butt and around the corner. You're like, Andrene, what?
No, we would just giggle. It was funny. We all have brothers. It's fine.
Yeah, all right. I guess that's true.
Yeah. That was always funny to me, so that made me laugh. All right, as far as some facts, this was the very first movie made by Nickelodeon Movies. And for those of you that owned this VHS, it had that orange tape.
Ooh.
That Nickelodeon orange joint, like the exclusive.
That's hard.
Which also set itself apart from Disney, because they didn't have those joints.
They didn't, but they had the big plastic cover.
They did.
So
this was based on the book that came out in 1964 called Harriet the Spy by Louise Fitzhugh. The author referred to Harriet as a nasty little girl who keeps a notebook on all her friends. So she said that she was surprised that so many people like loved the character, because she was like, this girl is trash. She didn't say trash, but basically she's like, this girl is trash. The film started shooting on October 11th of 95, which was Michelle Trachtenberg's 10th birthday. So she was around that age when she did the movie. Many theatrical versions of this movie included the pilot episode of Hey Arnold as a short before the start of the film, which must have been so fun.
Yeah, Hey Arnold's a banger.
And then lastly, Mara Wilson, who is the now woman, but at the time she was a girl who played Matilda.
Yeah, Mara Wilson, yeah.
She said that she and Trachtenberg went to the same high school in Burbank, California. Sorry, same middle school in Burbank, California. And she remembers that in 1999, before Trachtenberg graduated from middle school, she had asked her, like, are the kids here mean to you? And Wilson was like, I mean, sometimes. But Trachtenberg said, because they're really mean to me. She said, they call me Harriet the Slut, Harriet the Bitch, Harriet the Bitchy Spy, and so much worse. They never stop.
Yeah, I mean, they're
She's
jealous.
an actress, bro. Like,
they're jealous
but
because
kids,
she's famous and she has a movie on Nickelodeon, and I'm just a kid that lives here, and my dad is trying to become an actor. So, yeah.
Yeah, in Burbank, you're right, yeah. Everyone there is, like, trying to make it or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, that was kind of rough. But, kids can be trash. We know this.
This is what the movie's all about. Mm-hmm. So she got to experience it firsthand.
Yeah. At least she had Mara as a friend, so.
All right, I think I went first.
Yeah, you went first
last week. So let's give your rewind rating for Harriet the Spy on a scale from 1 to 5 rewinds, based on how likely you are to rewatch this movie again in the future.
So this movie was shorter than last week's at 1 hour and 40 minutes. And I don't know. So watching this movie, while it does in fact turn up when they find the notebook, it took a while to get there. Like for me, I'm watching it and like you see her running around looking at the Chinese restaurant and the guy with the cats and all these things. The private notebook stuff doesn't happen until we're like 50 minutes into the film. And I was like, bro, this took a while to get here. Because I pressed pause to be like, we're just now getting to the meat of it. So for me, the pacing was a little bit off. And I also I didn't like this character.
Well, it has to turn halfway through the movie, though. It can't turn too early because it's a surprise. And again, like I said, I feel like the movie doesn't set itself up to be like her against her class. I had no idea that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, I was shocked.
But anyway, this is your
I was
rating.
shocked, but like I said, I just feel like the first half of it, I was just watching her like walk around and take notes, and I was just kind of bored. Like I was just kind of like, all right, there's nothing happening. So I figured the whole movie was going to be just her doing this stuff, and I thought it was just going to be a boring movie. But then it does turn up, it does get interesting, and so I was intrigued. When Marion gets hold of the notebook, I was here for all of that. But for me, I don't think that Harriet really learned much of a lesson by the end of the movie. So it's like you do all this crazy stuff. You stab your friends in the back. You give them a half-ass apology. And then by the end, it's like, oh, we're going to vote you to be the editor of the paper. Like I didn't like it. So will I watch this movie again? Maybe like this is very, very, very like low. Maybe. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling this. I'm giving it a 2.
Okay. So I would say that I, again, did not really know what to expect from this movie. I feel like I was definitely more entertained by it than I thought I would be. I thought the whole, like, the bullying wars was just like, I feel like everybody was just being so awful to each other, but that's also what middle school kids do. So I don't know. I feel like on the one hand, like, I was entertained watching this, but I think how likely am I to rewatch it is a different question than how much did I enjoy it. And to be fair, like, I have not been consistent about how I've rated these movies to this point. So, I mean, I guess we'll talk about that more next week. I guess from a perspective of like how much I enjoyed this movie, I feel like the rating would be a little bit higher. But I think after we just talked about it for the past hour, and especially thinking about the fact that like the issues in the movie don't really get resolved, I feel like that definitely does take away a little bit of the replay value. On the other hand, this is a movie for kids, and like the kids are just kind of watching this and having a little bit of fun with it. So I don't expect it to necessarily be, like a PBS special. And this is Nickelodeon after all. We're talking
it's
about
not Disney.
We're talking about suicide and all this other stuff. So I don't know. I'm a little stuck, and I'm kind of wasting time because I don't know what I'm going to say. So I'm going to go with like a 2.8.
Okay. Well, we have a 2 and a 2.8. I'm sure a few people might be angry with those scores. So we shall see.
I'm sure my wife will be. So
yeah. Let us know what your thoughts are on Harriet the Spy. Also, if you have a movie you would like for us to rewind, rewatch, and review, send us an email to rewindrewatch1990s or hit us up on social media at RR90spod. Our Patreon is open for $5 a month. I mean, it's just a cup of coffee when you think about it. And you'll be able to get in on our chats, get our bonus episodes.
Less than a cup of coffee nowadays.
And then, interact with us on a regular basis. And then lastly, this is your last effort to leave a voicemail.
I mean, I also would say, like, people can continue to leave us voicemails after the 100th episode. So I wouldn't say it's their last opportunity to do so.
Well, to get it in for this episode, I'll say that.
Yes. But if we get voicemails after episode 100, we'll still utilize them.
Yeah.
It just won't be, in the same format, but we'll find a way to get them into future episodes for sure. And I would like to actually leave the number open so that we can just get voicemails periodically. So if you miss the boat and you still leave a voicemail, we will hear it and we will find a way to add it into a future episode, even if it is not next week's. All
right. Do you have any final words for the lovely listeners?
I don't know that I do. I will say the one thing I did want to note is when she goes to the psychologist's, the psychologist plays Rock'em Sock'em Robots with her, which I was like, oh man, this is taking me back. And it's just such a simple toy, but so much fun. So I think that's my final word. Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
All right, y'all. Later.
Adios.